Hi, I'm Jess. I'm on the team at Upfront Pay. Today, I'm going to speak about getting an ABN and what you need to know. So what are some reasons you might want to get an ABN? You might want to start working for yourself or start your own business. You might want to be a subcontractor, or maybe your boss has asked you to. So what's going to change when you start working under an ABN instead of getting paid from an employer? So to get paid, you're going to need to submit an invoice, and that needs to have all the information on there about your business. So it's going to need at least your name, your ABN, the date, what the service or product was that you're getting paid for, and the amount, and GST if you're registered. If there's any GST included, that needs to be on there as well. Out of that, you're going to be responsible for paying things like your own tax, super, holiday and sick pay, work cover, and liability insurance. So make sure that you keep money aside to pay these things so that you're not having this big nasty tax bill. Also, you're going to need to submit and report all of your income to the ATO, even if it's below the tax-free threshold. Let me go through each of these with you. For tax, don't forget to keep this aside so that you don't get a big bill at the end. You need to keep track of how much you're going to be owing and have a separate savings account so you don't touch it. Keep records and receipts of all your work-related expenses. Next, we have superannuation. This is so important. Even though it's tempting to ignore, future you will thank you for it. Holiday and sick pay. You're not going to be paid for sick or holiday leave under an ABN, so make sure you set aside some money so you can still have these days. Work cover covers your income and medical bills if you're injured at work. This is a tricky one for subbies. Check with your boss if they have work cover for you, because sometimes they're still required to do that if you're working almost as an employee under an ABN. Liability insurance covers you if you cause injury or damage on site. Again, this one is something you need to check with your boss if you're working as a subbie. When you have an ABN, you might be responsible for things like bringing your own tools of trade and equipment to do the work with instead of using your employers like you used to. You'll be responsible for fixing any mistakes that you make out of your own pocket, possibly. You might be required to pay for any accidents that happen on site, and these are things why your liability insurance is so important. Discuss all of these things with your boss, because sometimes they will cover these things, sometimes you're required to, so it's really important that you have that conversation so that you know exactly the situation. Also, if you think you might earn over $75,000 a year, you're going to be required to pay and register for GST. So what do you need to do? You need to register for an ABN. If you think you might earn over $75,000, you need to register for GST. If you're doing most or all of your work for one boss, you need to talk to them about things like work cover and superannuation. Sometimes they'll be required to pay those things, but sometimes not. So it's important that you work that out. Also, you need to create an invoice template so that it's easy. Each time you need to submit an invoice, you just put in the new details. Consider using Upfront Pay to get paid on time every time. Sometimes it can be a long time when you're working under an ABN between when you submit your invoice and when you get paid. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more tips.